Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. I'm fine.
Good. You got the mic?
Button.
Oh, are we supposed to talk?
Remind myself, who was first and second. Nice to meet you.
Did you all? I didn't guess I wasn't doing it.
It's okay.
I think they were waiting on a few more just, okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 5th Annual Court of Justice Black History Celebration. My name is Amy Lay, and I'm the Employee Growth and Development Advisor here at the Administrative Office of the Courts. We are glad to know that you will be celebrating with us, whether it's in person or live stream. You will hear today from Chief Justice Lambert, Judge Melissa Moore Murphy, our Administrative Office of the Court's new Director, Zach Ramsey, and of course, our keynote speaker, Dr. Sharika Smith. We are happy that you have decided to join us, and we are honored to join the national theme of African Americans in labor. We are highlighting the vital role of African Americans who have contributed to the nation's workforce and labor movement, celebrating the achievements, the inspirations, and successes of our past, the present, and accepting the charge to empower those that will lead in the future. As we commence today, Judge Murphy, who is a 1998 and 2001 graduate of the University of Kentucky, in 1998, she received her Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and History in the honors program with a minor in vocal music performance. She received her Juris Doctor from the J. David Rosenberg College of Law in 2001. The Honorable Judge Melissa Moore Murphy was appointed to the Fayette District Court bench by Governor Andy Beshear in April of 2020. Since her appointment, Judge Murphy was elected in November 2020 and re-elected in November 2022. She has been appointed to serve on the Kentucky Judicial Commission on Mental Health, and she is also the co-creator of Kentucky's first juvenile treatment court with her judicial colleague, Judge Lindsay Hughes Thurston. Please let us celebrate together and welcome Judge Melissa Moore Murphy as she comes for the Black National Anthem.
Good afternoon. We would ask that you all stand. By way of a brief history, Lift Every Voice and Sing was penned as a poem by James Weldon Johnson. And the first time that this was publicly performed was 125 years for the birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us, and sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed, and we have come over a way that with tears has been watered, and we have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past. May we forever stand where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in thy path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Thank you so much, Judge Murphy, for a wonderful selection. Words are powerful, and being selective about who shares the right ones at the right moments are just as important as well. This is why our keynote speaker was chosen to provide our address for today. Dr. Sharika Smith was born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky, and is a mental health coordinator for Fayette County Public Schools. She obtained an undergraduate degree from Transylvania University and then earned her master's in social work from the University of Louisville. In 2022, Sharika was a member of the inaugural class of graduates from the University of Kentucky's Doctor of Social Work program, where she researched the impact of childhood trauma and the lack of mental health resources for Black families. She is a part-time instructor for the University of Kentucky's College of Social Work and enjoys the precious moments she spends with family, including her 2 dogs, Ellie and Andy. She also enjoys reading, traveling the world, and binge watching Netflix documentaries. As Dr. Smith comes to share with us about the enduring legacy of Black professionals, please join me in giving her a warm welcome.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Amy, for that introduction that I think I wrote, but it's an honor to be here this afternoon, and I'm so glad that the weather held up for us to join in person. We all, if you're from Kentucky or lived here long enough, you know, it could snow today and then tomorrow will be 90 degrees. So it's always just a little iffy, but I'm so honored to be here on this stage to talk about something that's so important, so impactful. And like Amy said, my passion is mental health. My passion is learning about why African Americans, why minorities don't seek mental health treatment, but also trying to bring awareness and making sure that that's normalized for us. So when I was asked to merge the topic of contributions of African Americans in the workplace and mental health awareness, it was genius, right? A lot of times we think about trauma and we think about sexual abuse, we think about physical abuse, we think about neglect. But we also have to put workplace discrimination in there, right? We also have to put some of those situations that aren't that typical traumatic situation that we think of, because some of those do present the exact same responses, meaning we need mental health resources. So again, very excited to be here. I'm honored for this opportunity. And I'm just proud to talk to you all about the legacy of Black professionals from then until now. But we can't do that without also acknowledging the incredible legacy But it does come with hardships. It comes with trauma, and it comes with just an overall impact on mental well-being for African Americans. I do want to start off by saying, acknowledging African Americans this month, the contributions that African Americans have made, acknowledging that this month does not take away from the many contributions of other people, okay? But it is essential to specifically highlight these contributions given the historical and ongoing impact that it has had on our society. So I'm going to take you all on a journey, come along with me from then to now, but also I want to take a peek into our future, the future of Black professionals, and just remind us of what we need to be doing right now to pour into the future to make sure that it is still bright and hopeful. So African Americans have made, they're currently making, and will continue to make significant contributions across numerous fields. That's something that we all should be proud of. While I'm excited about the future and seeing what's to come, we cannot get there without acknowledging and paying respect to our history. So the other day I lay down for a nap, and I started to have the worst dream. I rolled out of my bed and my clothes were all wrinkled, but I couldn't iron because Sarah Boone hadn't created the ironing board. I ran to the bathroom to freshen up, but even that was cut short because George Washington Carver hadn't created the soaps and the lotions that I needed. So before I headed downstairs, I went by my bed and looked down to put on my shoes, and then I realized I don't have shoes because William A. Dietz hadn't invented those yet. So I went to the kitchen, decided to make me some toast, got my toaster out, and then I had to think fast because my toaster started sparking flames, but I didn't have a fire extinguisher because Tom J. Marshall hadn't invented one. So then I decided maybe I should just do peanut butter and jelly. I couldn't have that because George Washington Carver hadn't invented peanut butter, and my jelly was warm because John Standard didn't invent the refrigerator. So I stood in the middle of my kitchen eating bread. I couldn't even sit down at a table because Henry A. Jackson hadn't invented the kitchen table. So when I finished, there were crumbs everywhere all over the floor after eating my bread standing up. But I couldn't even clean up the crumbs because Lloyd P. Ray hadn't invented the dustpan and Thomas W. Stewart hadn't invented the mop. By then, I was running late for work, so I rushed out of my house, but I couldn't even set my alarm because Marie Van Britten Brown hadn't invented the home security system. I raced down 3 flights of steps because Alexander Miles hadn't invented the elevator. I got in the car, but I had no clue where I was going because Dr. Gladys West hadn't invented the GPS. I took off driving anyway. I realized I couldn't shift gears or brake because Richard B. Spikes hadn't invented those yet. And since there were no traffic signals created by Garrett Morgan, I came within inches of hitting another car. But thank goodness Henry Sampson invented the cell phone because mine rang and woke me up. A world without Black inventors? What a terrible nightmare. Black history is not optional. This is a great example of why this is true. It's so easy for us to live our everyday lives and go throughout our normal routines without realizing that some things would be virtually impossible to do without the creativity of Black inventors. We move through these daily routines, we use countless gadgets, countless technologies, without a second thought to their origin. We take for granted how these innovations just seamlessly integrate within our lives, but sometimes we're just oblivious to those brilliant minds that conceived them. Now, the lack of awareness of this is not intentional always. It's not always malicious. It's simply a product of how history is often presented or not presented to us. The contributions of Black inventors have often been marginalized, overlooked, and even outright erased from our mainstream narratives. Even textbooks sometimes gloss over their achievements and rarely celebrate their brilliance. This historical amnesia leaves a lot of us unaware of the profound impact Black individuals have had on shaping the world that we live in. We rarely stop to think about those complex problem solving and details, that creative thinking that went into these creations, which also contributes to the invisibility of their inventors. We benefit from their genius without ever knowing their names and understanding the obstacles that they overcame. So by learning and saying their names, we not only honor their legacy, but we create a more inclusive vision of what innovation can and should look like. It reminds us that brilliance knows no color, and the next great invention could come from anywhere and anyone. I firmly believe the best way for this to become more of the norm is to take it beyond February, right? Continue to pay respect to even more Black inventions, such as the lawnmower, the printing press, the hairbrush, the clothes dryer, air conditioning units, ice cream, and even our toilets. Now, we can't ignore that while these amazing African Americans have paved an amazing and an important path for our future, their journey was often burdened by unique challenges. I'm talking about the weight of historical trauma, coupled with the daily stressors of workplace discrimination. No doubt these things didn't take a toll on their mental well-being. So when we understand the full picture of these struggles, that's when we can truly appreciate the work towards creating a more equitable society where everybody has the opportunity to thrive, both personally and professionally. We know who created that cell phone. Yet amidst these obstacles, African Americans demonstrated incredible strength and resilience. Their continued achievements throughout this time is just a testament to their unwavering spirit. We have to be thankful and recognize key figures such as A. Philip Randolph, who advocated for fair labor practices and the establishment of organizations that were aimed to protect the rights of Black workers. Now, on to the present. So this discussion has made me think about a lot of things in my own life and recognize that even in my own family, I'm so proud of the achievements that some of my family members have made. I'm a proud daughter of a father, who's in the audience, who is an author of 3 books, but also has a patent for a part he created for Toyota Manufacturing Company that's still used today. My selfless stepmother, who's retired, yet she went back to work to provide the utmost care for the elderly. My own brother, a composer creating beautiful music now being performed and heard all across the world. His wife, a violinist who also runs a wedding decor business. My nephew, who created a floral arrangement business at age 16. My niece, a future therapist studying at Georgetown College. Their mother, who has run human resource departments for 20+ years, and my mother, a woman who has served the homeless population for more than half of her own life. So I challenge you to look around in your own family, acknowledge those same qualities within your colleagues, in your communities, and most importantly, in our schools. When young Black children aren't given the space to be creative and motivated, it actually hinders us from recognizing their true potential. So that boy with so much curiosity he can't sit still in class is labeled with an attention disorder instead of someone leading him to become a scientist or an investigator. That young girl who loves to talk to her peers, she's given multiple infractions instead of someone encouraging her to audition for the school play. And then we've got that teenager who likes to just doodle all over his papers. He's labeled as defiant instead of giving him a blank canvas, a sharpened pencil, and the encouragement to become the next amazing minority artist like Faith Ringgold. Unlocking their full potential comes with prioritizing mental wellness, creating safe, inclusive spaces where they can thrive. I'm putting in a plug in here for mentoring, right? I encourage you to help guide our youth to see the future they can have and the future that they deserve. Unfortunately, with this, we have to address those ongoing challenges still being faced by African Americans today in the workplace, such as pay disparities, systemic barriers, and that constant pressure to represent. Not too long ago, Black women earned 70% as much as white men, and the typical Black worker earned almost 25% less per hour. Now, sure, this is an improvement from 20 years ago, but we know that there's still work to be done. Furthermore, many African Americans find themselves working in predominantly white workspaces, and they're sometimes expected to represent the entire race. This can lead to a feeling of just being under a microscope, every action and decision being scrutinized, and that's kind of potentially seen as a reflection of their entire community. This added burden can be incredibly stressful and contribute to those feelings of anxiety and even self-doubt. On top of that, we talk about daily stressors of workplace discrimination, including microaggressions, being mistaken for service staff, having their ideas dismissed, being complimented for being articulate as if that's a surprise. All these things can chip away at one's self-esteem and even their sense of belonging. Imagine having to repeatedly correct people of your hard-earned title. Actually, it's Dr. Smith. Then we have the more overt forms of discrimination, such as being passed over for promotions, facing unfair scrutiny. These things can create a hostile work environment and a stressful work environment. And again, feelings of isolation, frustration, and that constant need to prove oneself, all of which can take a toll on your mental health. So specifically, I'm talking about burnout, anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions. They're not signs of weakness, but rather understandable responses to extraordinary pressure. Not only are these individuals inventors and artists and creative people, but now we're forced to be warriors, right? Constantly fighting for recognition, respect, and equal opportunity. So in order to create workplaces that are truly supportive of mental well-being of African Americans, we need to address those systemic inequalities. Companies have to commit to actively working to eliminate bias in hiring and promotion processes, and just providing those opportunities for mentorship. We also have to provide resources and support. This could include access to mental health professionals who they're culturally competent and can understand the challenges that African Americans face. It also means promoting work-life balance, creating a safe and supportive work environment where employees can feel valued and respected. I'm fortunate to work in a school district that has an employee wellness team. What a great way to show staff that their well-being is important as well, and great advocacy for the importance of mental health awareness. Next, we need allies. Speaking up against microaggressions and challenging discriminatory practices shouldn't always fall on African Americans' shoulders. If you have a voice, use it and actively support your colleagues who are impacted most. So we know that African Americans have always been strong and resilient in the face of adversity, but we have to recognize that even the strongest among us still may need support. One of my close friends and colleagues said to me once, "I'm just tired of being resilient." Now, by saying this, she didn't mean she was giving up. But again, sometimes you just get tired of fighting the same battles. Resilience fatigue is real, and so is not knowing how strong you really are until being strong is your only choice. So this isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about unlocking the full potential of all of our workspaces and building a stronger, more inclusive society in which everyone can thrive. And now, onto our future. Nelson Mandela reminded us that children are our greatest treasure. They are our future. Investing in our young African Americans today will help create a future that looks more bright and more hopeful. It's also been said that to live without hope is to cease to live. Now, we know that where there is hope, there's little room for depression. There's little room for suicidal thoughts, and our detention centers are less filled with Black and brown boys and men. Suicide rates are rapidly increasing among that young adult age, and it's evident that the makeup of our jails and prisons already consist of a high percentage of African Americans. Many of them are there because they had no hope. Their dreams were cut short, or they found themselves in spaces that just weren't safe. I'm hopeful for a future where African Americans will not only be encouraged to keep creating firsts, but they'll also be appreciated and respected for it. Some say that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. So what will our children now be to us? This is our chance to feed them and nurture them and remind them of their infinite possibilities rather than taking their dreams away from them. So be the one that tells them, yes, you can do it, when so many people have told them, no, you can't. Imagine the creations that will be stifled if we stop pouring into our youth. So I leave you with this. No matter who you are, no matter what role you play, we're all playing a crucial role in the legacy of Black professionals. Those of us in leadership roles, look for safe spaces for African Americans to be inventive, and if there aren't any, create them. We all need to identify and help eradicate workplace stressors, including microaggressions and lack of representation. allow for employee resource groups that are focused on mental health, and encourage that open dialogue. So when we do talk about mental health, we're not faced with fear of being judged or discriminated against. When we feel supported, we're more productive, creative, engaged, and that should be the goal for all work environments. Find ways to support our Black youth or give to programs that do, and be the person for them that we needed when we were growing up. Continue to have these discussions about Black professionals so that maybe one day the achievements of Black professionals will no longer be earth-shattering, but rather the norm, the expectation, or just the way it is. So while February provides us a dedicated time to honor past inventors like Madam C.J. Walker, celebrate contemporary figures like Dr. Marion Rogers Croak, and inspire the future inventors such as, insert a young child's name here, we all need to use this time to reflect on not making the same mistakes that we made then. George Santayana said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." So let us strive to repeat the positive things of our history, and let us not confine our commitment to celebrating Black professionals to just 28 days. Carrying on this spirit of recognition throughout the year helps us to acknowledge the richness of our past and begin to shape a more inclusive future. Thank you all.
Well, welcome, everyone. I'm Zach Ramsey. I'm the relatively new director of the Administrative Office of the Courts, and I wanted to thank Dr. Smith for taking time to be here today and sharing this important message, and also thank Judge Murphy for singing the Black National Anthem so beautifully, and we're honored to have you both here today. What I'm mainly here to do, and I now have the additional honor of doing, is introducing our Commonwealth's newest Chief Justice, also the Commonwealth's first woman elected as Chief Justice, and my boss, Deborah Hembry Lambert. And Chief Justice Lambert began serving as chief on January 6th. She was elected by her fellow justices who are here today on our state Supreme Court, where she's been a justice since 2019. She came to the Supreme Court after 4 years on the Kentucky Court of Appeals. And prior to that, she was a circuit judge in our family court division for our 28th Judicial Circuit, which is Lincoln, Pulaski, and Rockcastle counties. And she was appointed to that seat in 1999 by then Governor Paul Patton. And as a family court judge, she created the first drug court in the area. And in 2002, she was recognized by the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, inducting her into the National Drug Court Hall of Fame. She also has the distinction of serving as the first chair on the Kentucky Judicial Commission on Mental Health, which is a groundbreaking commission that focuses on improving the judicial response to cases involving mental health, substance use disorder, and intellectual disabilities. A native of Bell County, Chief Justice Lambert earned a bachelor's degree with distinction from Eastern Kentucky University. She went on to graduate from the University of Kentucky College of Law and practice law in Mount Vernon, Kentucky, serving as an assistant Commonwealth's attorney and city attorney. She's volunteered in area middle schools, working with at-risk children and families. She volunteers as a certified suicide prevention trainer, and she is one of our Commonwealth's foremost leaders in addressing critical issues around mental health, substance use disorders, and other issues impacting our families and our children. So, Chief Justice Lambert, we're so glad you could be here with us today, and we welcome you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for making the extra effort to navigate these snowy roads, right? I want to start by thanking Amy Lay, who is not wearing an A for Alabama, we've discovered. Our court investigated that, Amy. She is our employee growth and development advisor, and I also want to thank the entire team at the Administrative Office of the Courts for not only organizing this event and bringing us together here today, but shuffling us around from changing venues. That I know that was not easy, and I know that chairs and tables and all that have to be moved. So unfortunately, or fortunately, that is part of a job description, I suppose. And I want to extend my appreciation to Dr. Sharika Smith for being here today. I'm glad she could be here in person. And in case I miss you later, Dr. Smith, I want to invite you to become involved with our Mental Health Commission. I was very impressed with your remarks, and I know there are commission committees that you can be very helpful on. The concept of trauma affects us all, and I was very impressed with your, not only your background, but your remarks here today. And also a very special thank you to Judge Murphy for her beautiful rendition of Lift Every Voice. I was trying to listen very carefully and just enjoy the beauty of it. I am not a singer, but by any means, I do that joyful noise in church, and that's about it. But watching The Voice last night and hearing John Legend kind of analyze voices, I thought, oh, wow, she hits all the notes. So thank you so much. We're so honored with her and her talents. AOC began celebrating Black History Month officially in 2020, and it is an event that holds for us a great significance. Not only does it give us an opportunity to reflect on the lessons of the past, but it helps us to face new challenges in the future. And as members of the judiciary, this is a responsibility that we must embrace. And I'm grateful for the AOC staff for continuing to make this event possible each year. Almost all of my fellow justices are here today. Justice Conley, Justice Goodwine, Justice Bissick, Justice Keller, and Justice Nickel, who's also a fine vocalist, I might add. And perhaps others sing, and I just am not aware of it. But perhaps most importantly for this event, I'm here today to present the William McAnulty Jr. Award to a deserving member of the Court of Justice family. And what might we be honoring today? But first, let's talk about Justice McAnulty. He was the first African-American justice on the Supreme Court of Kentucky and the first African-American to hold a cabinet-level position in state government. He also had the distinction of serving at every level of the court system, including being a juvenile court judge before the adoption of the judicial article in 1976. Mac's many awards and distinction include the Henry V. Pennington Outstanding Judge of the Year Award, the Louisville Bar Association Judge of the Year Award, the Thomas C. Simons Leadership Award, and Metro United Way's Allen Society Leadership Award. Justice McAnulty also received the Distinguished Alumni Award and was a recipient of the Louis Grauman Award from the Louis Van D. Brandeis School of Law at the University of Louisville. Justice McAnulty was committed to serving the public and his community and served on the board of over 10 different organizations during his lifetime, including Metro United Way, the Kentucky Children's Home, and the East End Boys Club of Louisville. And in honor of Justice McAnulty's legacy, this award is given to someone who demonstrates commitment to their profession, leadership, dependability, and generosity toward others, and a dedication, of course, to their community. And so now I am so pleased to announce that this year's recipient of the William E. McAnulty Jr. Award is one of our own, in fact, Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Pamela Goodwine. We have worked with Pamela just a short time, Justice Goodwine, just a short time, but we've worked her really hard the last couple of days, and so hopefully this will be a little bit of a bonus. Justice Goodwine was elected to the Kentucky Supreme Court in November 2024 from the 5th Appellate District, comprising 8 counties in central Kentucky: Bourbon, Clark, Fayette, Franklin, Jessamine, Madison, Scott, and Woodford counties. And upon taking office on January 6, 2020, There was a snowstorm then too, I think. And she became the first woman and just the fifth justice to serve at all four levels of the judiciary in Kentucky, and became the first Black woman to serve on the Kentucky Supreme Court. She made our court also a majority lady justice court. At the first time in history, we now have a female majority on our bench. Prior to being elected to the Supreme Court, Justice Goodwine served 6 years as judge of the Kentucky Court of Appeals, having been elected in November 2018 and reelected unopposed in 2020. At the Court of Appeals, she chaired both the pre-hearing conference and personnel committees and was named Deputy Chief Judge by Chief Judge Thompson. But before her election to the Court of Appeals, she served as a circuit judge from November 2003 and as a district judge from August 1999 until November 2003. She also, during her tenure as circuit judge, was elected by her peers to be the chief regional circuit judge for Fayette County for part of her tenure there. Justice Goodwine was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio, and moved to Lexington, Kentucky in November 1979 to work as a court stenographer. Justice Goodwine received her undergraduate degree from the University of Kentucky, Carroll Martin Gatton College of Business in 1991, and she graduated from the University of Kentucky Law School in 1994, admitted to practice law in the Commonwealth the same year, and she was in private practice with the law firm Wyatt Tarrant Combs from 1994 until her appointment to the district court bench in August of 1999. But more recently, Justice Goodwine earned her Master's of Law degree from the Judicial Studies from Duke University School of Law in May of 2023. We're very proud of her for that additional professional accomplishment. And prior to her appointment on the bench, Justice Goodwine chaired the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights and served as a commissioner for that agency. She has been inducted into the Carroll Martin Gatton College of Business and Economics Alumni Hall of Fame in February of 2000 and named the Fayette County Bar Association's Outstanding Young Lawyer in May of 2001. On September 21st of 2012, she received the Henry V. Pennington Trial Judge of the Year Award from the Kentucky Justice Association. And she also served as a Fayette County Drug Court Judge from 2011 until her election on the Kentucky Court of Appeals. In March of 2018, Judge Goodwine received the Women Making History Award from the Kentucky Commission on Women. And in April 2018, she received the Carl Brashear Walking by Faith Award from the Carter G. Woodson Academy. In April 2019, she received the Fair Administration Justice Award from the Kentucky Academy of Defense Attorneys and the Distinguished Jurist Award from the UK College of Law Alumni Association. Later that year, she was honored with the Torch of Excellence Award from the UK College of Law Alumni Association at the 29th Annual Lyman T. Johnson Awards Banquet. She was named one of the Kentucky Gazette's 2020 Most Notable Women in Kentucky Politics and Government. And beyond this long, impressive list of accolades, and I suppose I could have shortened some, but I think it's already been shortened. I think she has more than these that are listed. Justice Goodwine is a hardworking, thoughtful, and caring member of our court community. And we are all excited to work with her on the Kentucky Supreme Court. Justice Goodwine, we are so grateful for your leadership and your positive attitude, your generosity, and your dedicated service to our court community. And you are most deserving of this recognition. And I'm proud to present it here to you today. If you would come up. We did not coordinate our colors today, but. Say a few words.
excuse me.
I'm almost speechless. Thank you, Chief. This is an honor. Justice McAnulty and I worked together in 1986. I was his court reporter when he was assigned to a case in Fayette County. I was honored to work with him then, and I shared my dream with him of one day serving on the Kentucky Supreme Court. This is a 45-year dream in the making. And I am honored not only to have accomplished that goal, but one of many firsts. And I am proud to be a trailblazer. And I often talk to Judge Murphy, and I told her when I became the first African-American female to sit and serve as a judge in Fayette County, that it would not be the last. It took me 20 years, but in April of 2020, I was proud to administer the oath to Judge Melissa Moore Murphy. I'm honored to serve with all of my fellow justices on the Kentucky Supreme Court, and I am honored to represent the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the 8 counties for which I serve. Thank you all very much for this honor. And because it's named after Justice McAnulty and because it's chosen by the Chief of the Supreme Court, I am duly honored to receive this award today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you, Chief Justice Lambert. Justice Goodwine, there are family members and friends that are viewing live stream, just so you know, that wanted to be in attendance. But there is someone else that sent a special surprise for you. So if you could just look up, I think at the screen, we have a special surprise for you.
Hi, my name is Kate McAnulty, and I'm the proud daughter of the late Justice William E. McAnulty Jr. My dad passed away in 2007, and his impact in the judicial world and across Kentucky remains. I was disappointed that I couldn't be there today in person, as it's always nice to be home, but I'm honored to join you virtually to present the Justice William E. McAnulty Jr. Award. This recognition is given to an individual who has provided distinguished and exceptional service as a career government employee with the Kentucky Court of Justice. The honoree has a sustained commitment to securing equal rights and justice for all citizens of the Commonwealth, and has done so through dedicated years of service. Back in the fall, I was honored to speak of then Judge Goodwine's campaign for Justice of the Supreme Court of Kentucky. And my family and I were so pleased when she won, and in such a clear and convincing fashion. Much different from what we're unfortunately going through here in North Carolina as it relates to the Supreme Court race. Like my dad, Justice McAnulty, Justice Goodwine has over 25 years of judicial experience, and experience matters, or at least it should. My dad sat on all 4 levels of the bench in Kentucky, district, circuit, appellate, and supreme, a distinction that Justice Goodwine now follows as only the 5th to do so. Serving the Commonwealth in various judicial capacities and being repeatedly elected by the people contributes to the unique qualifications needed to assume the ultimate seat on the Supreme Court and this prestigious award. As she shared in her acceptance speech in November, her campaign stood firmly on experience, honesty, and a commitment to impartiality and the rule of law to protect and serve every citizen. Similar to my dad, Justice Goodwine appreciates nonpartisanship and is committed to fairness regardless of political leanings. Both my dad and Justice Goodwine treated people with dignity and presided over cases with fairness. Just as the award suggests, both had a sustained commitment to all people of the Commonwealth. My dad used to joke or brag about the number of speaking engagements he'd have during Black History Month. As is known, he was the first Black Supreme Court Justice in Kentucky, and for over 17 years, he was the only one. He very much enjoyed collecting awards and accolades, and if you knew him, you could appreciate his presumed satisfaction in holding the honor as the only Black Supreme Court Justice in Kentucky for such a long time. However, my family and I are confident that he would have recognized Justice Goodwine's years of tremendous work and dedicated service, and supported her ascension to the High Court as the second Black justice and first Black woman to serve the Commonwealth in this important capacity. My dad was especially proud to champion women serving in the judiciary. I knew he would have been impressed by Judge Goodwine's service to the Commonwealth, and we are honored that Justice Goodwine carries on his legacy. On behalf of the McAnulty family, congratulations to Justice Goodwine on receiving the 2025 Justice William E. McAnulty Jr. Award.
I did also want to be mindful if the justices had anything that you wanted to say, we didn't want to skip over you. So you do have mics at your table if you wanted to. It's no pressure. I just wanted to respectfully give you the time. Okay. If you just press the button. Yes,
I've
ma'am.
got it. Thank
Okay.
you. Now I'm yelling. Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Amy, for hosting this and organizing this. And Zach, thank you for helping preside over this as one of your first big official AOC things. Judge Murphy, I can't imagine that Lift Every Voice being any more beautiful to me than it was today. Dr. Smith, thank you for your words of to remind us of what we're celebrating this whole month. It was wonderful to be in the rotunda with the Black Legislative Caucus last week. It's wonderful that the Administrative Office of the Courts also recognizes Black History Month in this fashion. It's one we'll never forget because our new colleague and good friend, Justice Pam Goodwine, has been recognized for a lifetime of work that is not over yet. You're just getting started. So on behalf of my colleagues, and they'll be able to say it more eloquently than me, I'm sure, but I'm just so glad, we're just so glad that you're with us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here today to take part in this event. And to my esteemed colleague, Justice Goodwine, congratulations and well-deserved. And thank you so much for your service to the Commonwealth of Kentucky and to our nation and to the example you set for our young people as they come behind us. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to have a friendship with a gentleman by the name of Vernon Jordan. Served on a couple of committees with him and boards. And I remember that Vernon once said that bad laws and bad situations can be knocked down like a wrecking ball with the stroke of a pen. But the real work really goes on afterwards to clean up the mess left behind. And so as we move into the future, working with you, beside you, I look forward to moving ahead and to leaving a trail for others to follow, just like you have. Congratulations and God bless you.
I can't add a lot. I'm Justice Angela Bissig to what my colleagues have said, other than I just want to extend my sincere congratulations to Justice Goodwine. I look forward to working beside you. I look forward to struggling over the difficult issues that we work on together with you. You know, back when I was on a college campus, Maddie Jones, who's a civil rights leader in Louisville, where I come from, taught me as we overtook an information booth protesting the university's involvement in apartheid in South Africa. She sat and patiently taught us all the words to "We Shall Overcome." And when I hear that song in any place, anywhere, I think of Maddie, and I think of Justice McAnulty, who I clerked for, and I think of the pride that I now feel to be able to watch my new colleague carry the torch and move forward and be a huge part of that thought that we shall overcome. So thank you for your service, all the years of service, your wheelbarrow of awards that will continue to come. And thank you for joining us in this important work.
Well, I'm Justice Conley. I can add less than that. I told Pam just a few days ago that she truly is an inspiration, not just for Black people, not just to women, but to everyone. The things that she's overcome she's just going to continue to be that wrecking ball that just keeps busting down
There you go.
barriers.
Yeah.
She is truly an asset to the court, and she's going to continue to be for a long time. And Judge Murphy, that was beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't know you had that kind of voice, but it's very, very pretty.
Thank you all. I would just like to give a special thank you to our justices, the Supreme Court for their hospitality and support. Although we moved locations, I still wanted to thank everybody. It's been a collective effort. The ALC Director's Office, the Communications Department, the Facilities Department, and of course, Human Resources Department. This was truly a collective measure, and I thank you all for that. It could not have happened without you. And I want to thank you for ensuring that we had an amazing celebration today. Thank you to all of you all that came out in person and joined us to make sure that we had a great time. And to those of you all that are viewing live stream, thank you for everyone attending, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And for those of us that are here, we do have light refreshments in the back. And we ask that you allow our justices, our special guests, and their families to be able to go first. So thank you all. Thank you very much.